It has been a long road to find the 2019 ARCA Menards Series champion. But tonight, after an 8-month, 19-race chase, all that separate 28-year-old Michael Self on the left and 18-year-old rookie Christian Eckes on the right is 15 points and 100 laps at the Kansas Speedway.
Here they come onto their front straightaway. 5 wide.
Still grinding on each other.
Here we go. A little contact. Here he comes inside.
Look at that push, side by side. Oh, trouble.
Oh, it is getting good.
We are racing in the ARCA Menards Series. Well, if you like your final race of the season to be big, it doesn't get any bigger than this. You found the right place as the Sunflower State is using the spotlights for tonight's ARCA Menards Series Kansas 150. Hello, everyone. I am Dave Reef. There is a lot at stake tonight. Not just the race win, but there's also a championship trophy to be handed out. The last time we saw you on Fox was last July in Pocono. Michael Self was the runaway point leader at that time. But if you missed anything since then, things have changed. Let's get you caught up to speed and how we got here, starting on the dirt in Springfield. Michael Self adds to his points lead with his 4th win, first ever on dirt. It's a gap between he and Christian Eckes of 105. But to the next dirt stop in DuQuoin, here comes the number 15 driver. Christian Eckes gets his 3rd win. And when Self has issues finishing 4th, that lead is trimmed to just 70. On to Salem, more troubles for Michael Self. He really opens the door with a 14th place finish. Ty Gibbs dominates to pick up his 2nd career win, but Christian Eckes comes home 2nd again. It's a net gain of 65 points, closing the gap to just 5. Then at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis, Chandler Smith earned his 5th win of the season and 13th overall for Venturini Motorsports. But Christian Eckes comes home 2nd again. He not only wrapped up the Sioux Chiefs Short Track Challenge in that rain delay race, he also passed Michael Self to have a 15-point lead heading into the finale. The stars drive the following cars. For Christian Eckes, it's the JBL Audio Toyota, the number 15. Will he have enough bump in that trunk to hold on to the title? Or will Dino have enough drive? This is Michael Self's number 25 Sinclair Lubricants Toyota. They both come out of Venturini Motorsports. And they are the drivers at odds with each other heading into the final round of this heavyweight battle. Each have thrown punches, each have received some body blows along the way, but according to this referee scorecard, it will come down to the final 150 miles to tonight to determine our champion. It is Dylan Welch and Kim Kuhn that are our pit reporters, and earlier today, they got the thoughts from our 2 title contenders, starting with Dylan.
And Dave, Christian Eckes comes into tonight's finale with a 15-point buffer over Michael Self. So as the points leader, what is the most important thing that you're focused on tonight?
Yeah, well, we had a little bit of a different game plan coming in, but now that we got to start 11th or maybe even in the back because we have to change some stuff. With the motor issues, we're just going to have to go attack mode from the start and try to get some track position. And I still feel like we have a really fast car. It's just as long as we work the bugs out, we'll be up there and contending.
What is it like as a driver on championship day when you have something like that go wrong or go askew right before you're about to go in and battle for a championship?
Yeah, you know, it's honestly weird. It's a little relieving. You know, I could just go have fun and try to make it through the pack now. But you know, before it was definitely nervous. You know, I woke up this morning it's definitely nerve-wracking. You know, there's a lot on the line here tonight, and my team's worked so hard to get here. So, like I said, we're gonna have a little bit of work to do tonight, but just looking forward to it.
Well, Michael Self finds himself 15 points behind teammate Christian Eckes for the ARCA Menards Series Championship. Headed into tonight's finale, how do you approach this race, and how much attention will you be paying to what Christian does tonight?
I think for me, there's nothing to lose. Just go out there and, you know, we're not going to lose 2nd in points, even if I wreck and finish last. So only one way to go, and that's forward, you know. So I can just kind of do whatever it takes tonight and hopefully have some fun doing that. And, you know, it's nice to be here at a track that I really enjoy, a track that I've had success at in the past. So hopefully we can have fun with it. I mean, definitely keep in mind on where Christian's at. You know, 3 positions is not a lot, but it is a lot. So we got to keep mindful of that, especially as the night goes on, and try and run a smart race and see where it ends up.
As a former Kansas winner, how does this track fit your driving style, and how big of an advantage is it to start 2nd?
I think it's like I've said all year, you know, I really enjoy racing at the bigger tracks. I really enjoy the mile and a half, the intermediate stuff, much more so than I like the short tracks. So it's a place I really look forward to coming to. I always like coming here this time of year. The weather's always nice. It's fun racing the entire thing under the lights. And anytime that you get closer to the front of these mile and a halves, clean air is massive, you know, so that's going to be a really big deal. And you better believe I'll be fighting for it on lap 1. I need those bonus points from leading laps.
There you have it. That's one of our championship contenders, Michael Self. Back to you guys.
Yeah, once the hunted Michael Self, now the hunter. Whether it's Eckes or Self, what is guaranteed? This 3rd series championship for longtime ARCA supporter Bill Venturini. Twice as a driver, first in 1987 and then again in this picture in 1991. Big Bill, as we call him today, paved the way for what continues to be one of the premier teams with history dating back to his father, Tony, more than 6 decades ago. Hey, we're closing in on the start of Championship Friday, and when we return, Phil Parsons, Matt Crafton join us with their thoughts and more. But amid all of this championship tension, how about a moment of levity? Our General Tire driver profile, which asks our drivers which Monster Cup driver they would take on a trip to Planet.
Your body working.
Welcome back to the ARCA Menards Series Kansas 150. The calm before the storm is almost over as the thunder of stock cars is moments away. Let's go trackside for our command to start.
And now, for the most famous words in motorsports, please welcome your Grand Marshals, the 2019 Kansas Speedway Fan Council members.
One of the best commands to start we've heard all season long. Does that tell you how excited we are here at the Kansas Speedway for tonight's action? Joined in the booth now by 2-time NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series champion Matt Crafton, longtime analyst driver Phil Parson, and I turn to you as a 2-time champion, Matt. You've had that helmet on, same as Christian Eckes and Michael Self does right before the car started. What do you think they were feeling all over?
There's been a lot of nerves the last few nights, without a doubt. A lot of sleepless nights, without a doubt. I remember my first championship, like, all I had to do is start the motor, and remember how nervous I was. Is this thing even going to start right now? So this battle they have is going to be very intense.
Does that motor starting, though, make all that go away?
Yeah, it definitely did. But as soon as that green flag, because under caution, you're worried about everything. But once you go green, it's game time.
I want to ask you about Kansas success. Phil, you're going to ask him about the same thing, too. You've won here twice.
We talk about you want a smooth day, you want a smooth weekend. That didn't happen for Christian Eckes. He lost, as he talked about earlier, he lost an engine qualifying, and he is going to have to start from the back of the pack. How does that change his mindset?
Like he had said earlier, was now we can take the gloves off, I feel. He's starting at the back. He don't have anything to lose. I mean, I had changed my motor, so I get to go race and not worry about the points. But at the end of the day, I guarantee that kid's worried.
Well, for Christian Eckes, it's his first trip ever to Kansas Motor Speedway. Already heard from Michael Self. He did win once a couple years ago, so Michael Self definitely feeling comfortable starting up in second.
How about this racetrack, though, Matt? You've raced on this racetrack. You've won here a couple times. Tell us what these guys are facing tonight.
It's great. Just because the asphalt is aged, and you're going to run at the bottom, you're going to start when you got some green racetrack, it's going to start at the bottom. You're going to run the middle. You're going to run the top. You're going to see great 3-wide racing, I feel. And I guarantee Christian's going to put on a show when they drop that green.
You know, people ask me how to handicap this field. Well, Christian Eckes in his last 6 races has 2 wins and 4 second-place finishes. His average finish 1.8. But on the other hand, Michael Self has won at this racetrack. He mentioned a few moments ago he finished 3rd last year. He has the experience at this racetrack. I really don't know who would be the favorite here. Maybe because Christian has that 15-point lead, maybe he would be the favorite, but again, he's starting at the back. I think it's anybody's race.
You know, there are a lot of cars here, a lot of quality cars, one of the best starting fields we've had all year long, and we're going to talk about some of those other contenders. Certainly one of those happens to be the guy starting on the pole position. You see him in car number 54. If you know Tanner Gray, then you know that he's our General Tire Pole Award winner. Just his 8th race as the former NHRA Pro Stock champion. Really is figuring out this oval thing real quick, Phil.
Well, he knew how to go fast straight. He did that a lot in his championship year last year, but he's really done a nice job driving a combination of the K&N Series as well as the ARCA Menards Series.
Alongside of Tanner Gray in a Toyota, there is the man that's second in points, Michael Self. How about the highest qualifying Ford, Ty Majeski? What a season he has put together. The highest qualifying Chevrolet, that's Brett Holmes, the 23 outside of row 3.
How about last year's champion, Sheldon Creed will make his 2nd start of the year starting back back in row number 4.
And how about Harrison Burton? He won Daytona. Is going to try to bookend the season here before moving on to that Xfinity deal. Do you like him tonight, Matt?
Oh, he's going to be a strong one. Well, Sheldon's going to put on a show. I guarantee you that as well.
22 cars strong. We're going to go 100 laps. It's a 1.5-mile racetrack. If my math adds up, that's 150 miles
I
tonight.
think that's exactly right, Dave.
Hey, finally, I can do some decent math. Hey, how about 5 onboard cameras to capture all of the action tonight? Car number 77, this is Joe Graff, the MyFace onboard camera. He's starting 21st. He hopes to come forward and provide us some great images.
We're also going to ride along with Travis Braden. This is the Matrix Care onboard. Outstanding season for Travis. He's 4th in points coming in there, going for a 2nd career win, and he starts from the 10th spot.
The ARCA coolers on board. You're looking at Riley Herbst in car number 18. We've heard from him all season long. He's tired of finishing in 2nd place. He wants to get that Joe Gibbs car home in 1st.
How about Ty Majeski? He's run 5 races this year. He's won 3 of them, looking for win number 4. He has done a great job in his Chad Bryant car. This is a General Tire onboard, and he will start from the 3rd spot.
And the 5th and final one happens to be the man 2nd in points. He led the series standings from the 6th race until the 18th race. It's the Sinclair onboard of Michael Self. Matt Crafton, when you carry an onboard camera, does it make you nervous because they catch every little thing that happens inside of them?
Usually, once you pull out on the racetrack, I always forget about it. And you're always wondering if you're going to do anything really dumb, but at the end of the day, you're out there racing and trying to put on a show tonight.
Well, let's talk about our Bounty Rookie Spotlight. 2 drivers are eligible for that. One of them happens to have a perfect scorecard based on his 15 best races, and it happens to be this guy. But there might be somebody else by night's end.
Yeah, Christian Eckes was to win the championship. Due to ARCA Menards rules, he would not be eligible to win the Rookie of the Year award, so that would go to Tommy Vai Jr. But great season for Christian Eckes, regardless of what happens tonight. And if he doesn't win the championship, if Michael Self does that, then he's going to win the Rookie of the Year championship.
Corey Heim not here. Tim Richmond a long ways back. It's only going to be Christian Eckes. Unless he wins that championship, then Tommy Vai. Let's get some final thoughts before green. First, we check in with Kim Kuhn.
Thanks, guys. Well, one driver I'm going to be watching tonight, Ty Majeski. He's making his 6th start for Chad Bryant Racing this season, but we haven't seen him in the car since Chicagoland. He's one of the drivers that excels on one of these big tracks, with 2 of his wins this year coming at mile-and-a-half speedways, Chicagoland and Charlotte. Now, despite not being in the 22 car for a couple months, he did take advantage of a test here at Kansas a couple of weeks ago. I checked in with the team earlier today. They said they made some changes on the car during practice, and they feel really good about their long-run speed. He's looking for his 4th win in 2019, and he'll roll off in the 3rd position. Also covering pit road is Dylan Welch. Dylan, what are you going to be watching here tonight?
And Kim, I'll be keeping my eye on Harrison Burton tonight. Of course, it's already been a busy week for the young man, announced as the driver of the 20 Xfinity car next year in 2020 for Joe Gibbs Racing. Already been on track so far today in the Xfinity car as well. Now, this 20 team locks up the Owners' Championship as soon as they take the green flag. They've got the flag celebrating that championship down here. The crew has been waving it and everything already, celebrating that. But they want a race win. You can never count them out either. And Dave, as you said, trying to bookend the season after winning in Daytona to start the year.
Well, that championship car owner is technically Kathy Venturini. She is listed as the car owner for that number 20. So congratulations to the Venturini clan on getting their 3rd championship. Matt Crafton, I want to get your final thoughts. What are you thinking about right now as we get set to go green?
Christian Eckes coming from the back. He's going to put on a show. I mean, in a race for a championship, you don't want to start at the back, but at the end of the day, you want to put on a show, and I think he's going to do it coming from the back.
Keep your eyes back there. Keep your eyes on the front. You know Michael Self wants to try to lead this 1st lap and get those 5 points, which could be valuable.
Yeah, we talk about 3 positions. Michael Self talked about being 3 positions, 15 points behind. But if he can lead a lap, that cuts that down to a 10-point margin. And if he could leave the most laps, then obviously that would cut down to a 5-point margin. So really, really important for him to try to get up front here.
If you're Christian Eckes, the simplest scenario to that championship, just finish ahead of Michael Self. That's all you have to do. And with that, the stage is set. The pace car has pulled in, and it is time to go ARCA Menards Series Racing with the finale. It's the Kansas 150. That's green. And right away, the first thing that you see is that your pole sitter selected the outside groove. The second thing you see is the 25 trying to take the lead.
I like that taking the outside. I'm not sure it's going to work this time for Tanner Gray, but dead even getting down to turn number 3.
When you talk about points, there were 5 points on the table for qualifying. Michael Self went out in front of Tanner Gray. Tanner was able to get past him steal those 5 points out of his pocket. So a little subplot here as Self does lead lap number 1.
That gives him 5 points. That moves him 5 points closer to Christian Eckes.
Behind Self and Gray, it's Ty Majeski. We talked about his successful year. Little wall banger there.
Looked like Harrison Burton got into the wall just a little bit. You see a little bit of smoke coming off the right rear of that car.
On the inside of him is Sheldon Creed, last year's champion, back for his 2nd race of the year. He was able to win at Kansas last year, and you're able to duck down below that white line here.
Yeah, no out of bounds here, but definitely some tire smoke coming from the right rear of Harrison Burton's car. I think he needs to get to pit road there, man.
You know, absolutely. You got that right rear smoking, so it's something you need to get pit road early, and maybe if he does go a lap down, he can get it back.
Still an incredible year for the now 19-year-old. Started the year winning Daytona, fresh out of high school, graduating, walking across the stage, picked up a 2nd win. But yeah, that car very ill handling right now. Looks like he might not waste any time. Not going to go around one more time.
I think he missed pit road.
Yeah, absolutely missed pit road right there. And the right rear might be flat.
Yeah, we noticed that Christian Eckes went by. Christian Eckes is already up to the 9th position. He was in the top 10 after 1 lap after starting at the rear.
He is a freight train coming.
Watch that yellow car on the inside of the racetrack, Joe Graff, as Christian Eckes is trying to go around the outside as they lap the 0-6.
Oh, yeah, you definitely have to gut Reggie Mulmer right there. And if he was going to be the hero and he's going to drive it in top 10 in 1 lap, if not top 5, he thought, and it almost went all awry.
There's Burton. He's made his way around this 1.5-mile oval. He's heading on to pit road now. How costly will this be? The longer that green flag stays out, the more costly it becomes.
Well, I think he's probably will end up losing a couple laps here because they're going to have to beat out the fender in the front fender and the rear quarter panel.
Dillon is there, catching the 20, heading in.
And Dave, they originally were just going to change the right rear, but I think upon further investigation, and then especially after he missed pit road, they decided to just go ahead and change both right sides. So right front and right rear being changed on the 20 car along with fuel. And as Phil mentioned, they're going to have to put some emphasis and effort to fixing that damage on the right rear. He hit that wall a pretty significant amount, and you see damage even on the right front. So they think they've got it fixed for now. We'll see if it lasts.
To the casual fan, those of us who've never been inside of a race car, that looks like a very soft hit. You're going to tell me something different, though, right?
Oh, that is not a soft hit right there. Whenever he bounced and he went back left and blew some sparks, and it was definitely not an easy one for sure. So
there's another look there. Just loses. Looks like he just loses the front end there on exit of number 2. And again, these tires are as good as they're going to be the whole night, only with 1 lap on the tires, and that was from qualifying.
And you hate to say it, he might have just got that arrow tight and just didn't expect it at that point.
Coming out of complete lap 7, Michael Self enjoys a 1.3-second lead over Tanner Gray. Looking back, Christian Eckes is now up to 6th. He's 6.2 seconds back. Still a lot of real estate, though, to be run here.
Yeah, Christian Eckes is certainly on the move, but Michael Self doing a real nice job here. As you mentioned, over a second-half lead on Tanner Gray right now. And continuing to be the fastest car on the racetrack. He was a full 0.3 of a second faster that lap than the second-place running Tanner Gray.
So great onboard look here from Michael Self, patrolling the Kansas Speedway. Already seen some interesting things, though, as Self continues to lead. Eckes continues to climb up from the back, but the first championship moment came when the 20 took the green flag. A championship moment tempered, though, as Harrison Burton collects the wall. They're flying the V for the Owners' Championship, but that driver's title is still to be settled. Lots of laps to go here in Kansas.
Aggressive.
14 of 100 laps are in the books here at the ARCA Kansas 150. Michael Self is doing exactly everything he possibly can do at this moment. He continues to lead Christian Eckes, who is back in 6th, but the best battle on the racetrack right now is that battle for 2nd between Tanner Gray and Ty Majeski.
Yeah, Ty Majeski actually had chased down Tanner Gray, got to within about 2 or 3/10 of a second, and then Tanner Gray had a couple good laps here, and he's opened back up now over a 1/2 second. About almost a 1/2 straightaway now. There he is right there. That's Tanner Gray, left of your screen, the 54 car, and that's the pink number 22 for Ty Majeski for Chad Bryant Racing.
Yeah, Tanner actually was running a couple tenths faster lap than the leaders, and now he's kind of leveled back off right there. I think he was back 2 tenths faster again.
Yeah, Tanner Gray really is on the move. He's close to within a couple seconds now of Michael Self, and he's opened up that gap over Majeski to almost a second.
Well, Christian Eckes may be closing up in terms of positions, but it's a gap now that's 8.5 seconds behind Michael Self. Dylan has more.
Well, and Dave, he's wasted no time, obviously, marching through the field in 17 green flag laps here, up to 6. Now, you may think, obviously, they had to change a motor here before the race, after qualifying. You may think that because they pulled it out of the backup car, it's not their best stuff. Well, that's not necessarily true. The motor that they have in this car now is one they call Old Faithful. They've run it about 10 times this year, and it's never finished worse than 3rd. So it's a pretty stout little horse they've got under the hood. Maybe not what they wanted to compete for a championship with, but this motor is no slouch, and you're seeing Christian Eckes put it on display as he marches up through the field. Kim?
Well, Michael Self out front has been pretty quiet on the radio, happy with the race car, and he's really been cool, calm, and collected all weekend long, and maybe we can attribute that to what he did Wednesday night. He and his wife Dana went to a rage room. Now, if you're not familiar what this is, it is a place you go to. It's a room full of old stuff, TVs, cars, furniture, and you get bats and mallets and hammers, and you just go to town on it. And he said he worked out some of his aggression and some of that pent-up rage he had and got some substantial sledgehammer time and swings in on a car that was in the rage room. Now, Phil, Matt, Dave, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a rage room, but apparently it worked for Michael Self, getting him focused and ready for a championship run.
That sounds like a pretty good idea. Rage room, get rid of a little stress, get your mind right.
Yeah, I don't know about the sledgehammer thing, though.
I think I'm going to go do that before Martin. So.
You got an idea, don't you? See how this works.
Unscheduled pit stop for Riley Herbst. I was noticed on the scoring monitor he was dropping. Came to pit road. Talked to Mark McFarland before the race, and he said they had a very, very good car. They thought they were one of the best cars. Now we're getting reports, guys,
injury,
that he was too fast entering, so he will have to come back down pit road for a pass-through penalty.
Tough break there. Well, as it stands at the moment, Michael Self continues to be in first. Christian Eckes has improved a position to 5th. At the moment, it's a 30-point gap. The 25 is back in the lead, but the simplest of scenarios boil down like this. Christian Eckes finished ahead of Self. He wins the championship. Self finishes 5 spots. We've now narrowed that window down thanks to the lap led.
Yeah, that's down to 4 spots. If he finishes 4 spots ahead of Eckes, he wins the championship no matter what.
So Christian Eckes doing exactly what he said he needed to do. He is in attack mode. He is attacking very fervently, driving to the front.
Yeah, he's led a lap. Now he needs to lead the most laps and get those 5 points.
That's Self,
as well.
of course. Eckes, though, he's the one that needs to come up, and he is in attack mode. So the penalty served. The 18 back out on the racetrack, and meanwhile, back up front, not much has changed.
Okay, Riley Herbst will also be 2 laps down along with Harrison Burton. That's really difficult. If you're 1 lap down, you can get in a free pass position. But once you get 2 laps down, you almost have to make one of them up on the racetrack yourself.
Or you can get the wave around. Do they have that here in the ARCA Menards series?
You betcha.
That might be their next ticket there, because there's a few cars that are 1 lap down, so it's going to be a struggle all night for them.
Good shot of Drew Dollar, making his 2nd ever ARCA start, running in the 4th position, really doing a nice job. This is a team car to Tanner Gray out of the DJR Crosley stable.
18-year-old out of Atlanta did a good job. Paced much of the field during practice earlier today. Dylan, this kid's certainly showing some promise. A good opportunity here for him tonight under the lights.
It is, and it's his first start on a track this size, first 1.5 mile race start. So it's the short tracks obviously present their own challenges, but the thing that Drew said presented the biggest challenge on these big 1.5 mile race tracks is that if you miss your marks on a short track, you kind of can tell right away. But these bigger tracks, you don't feel it till you're all the way kind of through the center and off the corner, and then that hurts you down the straightaway. So there's a lot to learn to help go around these racetracks fast. He's got Eddie DeHaan, who of course is spotted in the NASCAR Cup Series for a long time, and the Xfinity Series for a long time, on the box or on top of the stand for him tonight. So that is obviously a big help as well. So a lot of good people in his corner trying to coach Drew Dollar and get him some valuable laps here on the big tracks.
Debut for Drew coming at Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway over in St. Louis. Started 9th, finished 6th, so a solid job there. Solid job done so far tonight.
Yeah, he ran 8 K&N races this year, and 7 of those resulted in top 10 finishes. So very, very consistent. He gets these cars to the finish of the race. Doing a really nice job tonight as he laps by the 51 of Carson Ware. That's a debut for Carson Ware. That's Rick Ware's youngest son, Cody Ware. Rick, Matt, that you know, runs a Cup Series and Truck Series as well as Xfinity Series. But this is Carson's first ever start. Started out in Bandoleros at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Really doing a nice job. Jacob Companies is one of the longtime sponsors for Rick Ware. And you can see him right there, 19 years old. Good-looking kid from Jamestown, North Carolina.
Now he's cutting his teeth on the 1.5 miles.
Mile and a half. Let's start
he started on the 1.5 miles, but on the front straightaway.
Well, part of the 1.5 miles, right?
He's doing it, and they purchased and prepped vehicle from Venturini, a.k.a. Kevin Reed, helping out with the setup on that 51. Great way to get some experience. Here comes Eckes behind him, trying to put him a lap down. Eckes trying to set his sights on Drew Dollar. That's the next opportunity for him to gain another position. Tighten up that points race even that much more. Well, it's been a struggle so far for the Monster Energy team with more on the 18. Here's Kim.
Yeah, we saw Riley Herbst come down for service, get that penalty, have to come back around. Well, it was a flat right rear on that machine, so they did make a 2-tire change. Earlier in the run, he did report he was very, very free, specifically in turns 3 and 4. Although his spotter, Rick Corelli, did note he was much better on the longer runs. It's an interesting thing, though, that car is being free under these night conditions. In practice earlier today, Riley was actually complaining that the car was very tight, pushing tight, in fact, on exit. So right now they're battling a free race car, and obviously a lap, 2 laps down, actually, after that penalty.
Yeah, he's moved up the racetrack, though. You see him running higher than most other drivers, and he was the fastest car in the racetrack that last lap.
You could hear it, too, kind of fighting that race car. As it sits, though, this is the man who held the points lead from the month of May until race number 18. But Michael Self doing everything he can to get himself in position for an ARCA Menards Series championship. The only man standing in his way happens to be 4 positions behind him at Kansas Motor Speedway. Action there. Boy, Oklahoma's certainly going to make things interesting, but not quite as interesting as Michael Self continues to make things here at the ARCA Kansas 150 tonight, continuing to be the race leader now, working lap 36. Big pass, though, while we were away at break. Christian Eckes did get around Drew Dollar.
Yeah, then here he comes right here to the inside. Christian Eckes has made some great moves since the very beginning of the race. This is another spot. He needs to keep going, though. Ty Majeski will be next on his hit list, but he's about 7 seconds ahead right now of Eckes, so Eckes needs a caution flag.
And I think one of these crew chiefs might want to tell everybody what Riley is running, where he's running, and still running 3/4 of a second faster than everybody on the racetrack up against the fence last time I saw.
And we saw, remember, the ARCA cars were the first cars on the racetrack. There was no rubber down. Everyone ran around the bottom of the racetrack.
I think he listened. I think he
heard you.
Yeah, maybe you did. Yeah, exactly. Moved up the racetrack.
But now with 2 Xfinity practices, 2 Cup practices, a lot of rubber on the racetrack, and there's definitely some grip on the outside. We saw the Xfinity cars for sure right up against the wall, and I know Riley Herbst now was the first guy to figure that out here in the ARCA Menards Series.
And like Kim said a little while ago, Riley was talking about being really tight during the day, and this place does make a really big swing from day to night, and you'll always be a little bit snug during the day, and then you're really loose at night, and you're going, what did you do to this thing? I mean, this thing's sideways loose now, and I didn't touch it.
Yeah, Junior Joyner, what did you do to my truck?
Exactly. I've said that. So it's very interesting watching these guys when they drop the green, how loose all these cars were.
A moment ago, you're riding with Joe Graff Jr., who's at 11th, hoping to get the lucky dog should a yellow come out. This is Tanner Gray, who is the pole sitter tonight, who's running second, trying to chase down now 3.1 seconds behind Michael Self. And Matt Crafton is championship scenarios are pretty easy. If you're Michael Self or you're Christian Eckes, what do you want out of your crew chief at this point?
Just make all the right calls, make the thing drive perfect.
Any input as far as where to go, what to do, or you just prefer your guys stay out of your ear?
Just stay out of your ear. Just drive as hard as you possibly can. At the end of the day, I guarantee Christian's doing that. And Michael going, where is he? Where is he? Where is he running? And wanting to know about it. But
Oh, Drew Dollar. Looks like he tagged the wall. Some smoke inside of that race car. And that is the first caution. It comes on lap number 40.
Yeah, so far, Michael Self, he would have loved to have seen this race go green.
Absolutely.
Till he could have led at least 51 laps, and then the caution come out. Right now, they're probably in their window. They can go around 60 to 65 laps. They've completed 39, so they can get in their window and make it the rest of the way. You see, he was running up high, man. I think he just got over the cushion a little bit and got in the outside wall.
Yeah, he definitely jumped the cushion.
definitely in that wall for a while. From Riley Herbst, there's the fork, up against it once the black mark starts.
See if he gets a little bit loose maybe as Riley pulls up next to him. As they go down into turn number 3, that's where he's going to get to the wall down here in 3 and 4. I think he just went in a little bit too high. He went in high down in turn number 1 and it worked for him, but it went in 3 just a little bit too high and got into the outside wall.
Just the difference in the corners can really lead you into turn 3 too deep, just because it's a little bit sharper of a corner getting into turn 3 compared to turn 1.
So, Phil, you talked a little bit about strategy. I wonder what Michael Self and Team 25 will do here.
Come down pit road.
Guaranteed?
That's what they're going to do. Absolutely, because they know they get in their window to make it the rest of the way.
And give me 4 tires.
Give me 4 tires here. I've got a great car. Let's don't mess it up, mess the balance up by only changing 2 tires. Pit road's still closed right now. That's why nobody came to pit road.
And figures to be a parade where Tanner Gray, Ty Majeski, Christian Eckes, everybody's going to follow.
Little drink of water there for Michael Self. This is exactly what Christian Eckes needed. He was 11 seconds behind Michael Self. Good pit stop on pit road here. He's going to be in contention.
It's not like Michael Self was struggling, though. He's got a really good race car.
Oh, he's got a very good race car, and he did move up the racetrack, and it would be very interesting to look at the lap times once he started moving up that racetrack as well.
So that's probably the next goal for Michael Self, then. Get at least 10 more laps led. Make sure you lead the most laps and more bonus points.
You want to lead them all.
Yeah.
Lead every lap and win this race. That's the idea right now for Michael Self.
Make a statement.
Absolutely. We know he's good. He won here a couple years ago. We know that. He finished 3rd last year. He's very, very good on the mile and a halves. Way more experience on the mile and a halves than Christian Eckes. But remember, Christian Eckes at Las Vegas, Matt, in the truck race that you guys ran, sat on a pole and finished 3rd. So he did a great job on that mile and a half out there in Las Vegas.
Yes, he ran very good. I think he ran in Michigan, so he has some.
Yeah.
He has some big track experience as well.
This is Ty Majeski, 3 wins in 5 races this year. A guy who struggled in a abbreviated Xfinity year last year. Got that opportunity with this 22 team, and boys, he made the best of it for sure.
Yeah, and even meanwhile, he's winning a whole bunch of late model, super late model races all over the Midwest and then the
He leaves
South.
for Wisconsin Dells tonight after this for another one of those races.
He's a racer.
So we're moments away from entering pit road. Now we got to start talking about pit stops. Who can make the best ones?
Yeah, let's change 4. I like Matt said. I like 4 tires right here.
4 tires every time. As a driver, I'm saying.
Base car is on the track. The cars are in pit road. Pit road speed is 45. Who will hit their box first? We're about to find out. Let's first send it to Kim.
Yeah, Tanner Gray coming down pit road. Not a lot of chatter about how the car is handling. Mainly it's been Kevin Hamlin, his spotter, coaching him on the throttle. It looks like, some tough time. He's going to have to back up, get into his box. He went past the line, so tough break for Tanner Gray after a good start to the race. Michael Self, though, when Shannon Rush asked what he needed, he said nothing. The car is awesome, good off throttle speed. It's going to be 4 tires, Sunoco fuel for Michael Self, and he's down and away. Dylan Welch.
Christian Eckes just complaining he's a little bit loose all the way through the corner. 4 tires, air pressure, and track bar adjustment. He'll get out second, but Michael Self wins the race off pit road.
You saw the Tanner Gray slide through his pit. They had to push it back, but he was still too close to pit wall. The jackman was not able to get the jack under the car very well. It took forever to do this. Watch as he pulls in his pit. He's just going to be a little bit too fast. This is something that he hasn't had a lot of experience doing. You see, watch, he locks the brakes up. That nose goes over the white line there. They have to back him up really before they even start the pit work. And then he was too close to pit wall.
2 years as an NHRA Pro Stock racer. Guy didn't figure out how to maybe make a turn just yet, but he's a very talented young man. Tanner Gray back out on the racetrack. Michael Self leads Eckes. It's Kansas 150 continues. It is a big NASCAR weekend here at the Kansas Speedway. Tonight, it's the ARCA Kansas 150, but on Sunday on FS1, kick everything off at noon Eastern with NASCAR Race Day Kansas as the chase continues.
Yeah, what a great event we had last week at Talladega. A lot of drama right to the very end, obviously, and a bunch of people with their backs against the wall going into Martinsville on Sunday. It's Kansas on Sunday, excuse me.
Well, speaking of Martinsville, that's the next time we will see the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series qualifying at 10 a.m. on the 26th. Race day again at 1 o'clock. Then that Martinsville 200 coming at 1:30 p.m. all times Eastern. As Matt Crafton very much a part of that NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series. In fact, let's take a look at the points heading into Martinsville.
Comfortably up in the top 4, Matt.
Oh, absolutely. Very comfortably. With that 1 point, 1 spot. Yep, very comfortable.
And 60 points available at Martinsville, so that 1 point is really looms large.
And I love going to Martinsville. It's always a great place for us, and we've got a couple grandfather clocks, so hopefully we can add to that.
Need one more of those, don't you?
Absolutely.
Haley Deegan making her way off of pit road, her big track experience. Raced in Pocono, but this is her first trip here to Kansas. Haley trying to stay on that lead lap. She is the last car on the lead lap as it stands right now.
Just topped off the fuel to make sure she has enough. 54 laps to go right now, so 55 laps, excuse me. We think we can go around 60 to 65, but you never know with overtime, so I think a good call by 10-time ARCA Menards champion Frank Kimmel, who is her crew chief.
I'm going to ask you, Matt, are you much of a gamer? Have you checked out these racing simulators?
To be totally honest, I haven't. I always find something else to do, but I mean, to watch some of these kids do it, it's unbelievable.
That's how Haley Deegan prepped for this, is working on the simulator a little bit. Never been on the Kansas Speedway until today.
Well, Ty Majeski is one of the best world-ranked iRacing guys all over the world. He's one of the top in the world. Yeah, he's not bad at that either.
We do the simulators for some of the racetracks that we go to as well.
Yeah.
46 laps will be completed at the start-finish line. The green flag about to come out. How about this for a championship scenario? Side by side, it's Christian Eckes and it is Michael Self. And look at the start by the Sinclair Toyota driver.
If he can stay out front for about 5 more laps, he will clinch the most laps, and that'll get him 5 points closer.
I don't know if Eckes just stumbled out of the gate or what happened there.
Yeah, he might have spun the tires a little bit, but I guarantee he's chewing on the steering wheel.
See that left side of your screen, the 23 of Brett Holmes. What amazing season he's had. He hasn't finished outside the top 10 since Talladega in April. What a consistent run for him. There he is racing with Ty Majeski. Shane Huffman came on board that 23 car to call the shots, and they've had a terrific year.
One guy we haven't talked about happens to be the guy running in number 2 position right now, the 27 of Travis Brayton, the Wheeling, West Virginia native. He's got 1 win in the series. It came in his debut way back in 2015. He says that second win is way overdue. Well, he's at least positioned right at the moment.
Yeah, Travis Brayton, another guy that's had a tremendous season here. Only, I think, maybe the first time that he's run the full season here in the ARCA Menards series. Solid year, 4th in points.
Talk about being an active sportsman racer. Did pick up a big 100-lap win at Winchester, finished 4th in the ARCA CRA Winchester 400 the next day after that. So still wheeling a race car on the off weekends from the ARCA Menards series. But if he looks in a rearview mirror right now, he sees a lot of 15, or he did until Christian Eckes took a look on the inside.
Yeah, Majeski and Holmes still battling side by side. The black and the red car, the 22 of Majeski, the 23 of Holmes. Looks like Majeski may have that spot now.
Looks like Eckes may be making a move on the inside. If you're Michael Self, the next time you are looking to get that bonus point is coming up in just a lap. We are working now on lap 50, the halfway mark. If you can get 1 more, that's 5 more bonus points.
I guarantee you Michael Self knows who just went into second.
Absolutely. You saw the 28 right there. Sheldon Creed really loosed over there in turn number 4, Dylan.
And Phil, we were talking in the break about Sheldon came on the radio near the end of that green flag run and said he could smell something burning. Well, it turns out it was the leg support on his seat that comes out of the end of the seat where he sits and kind of molds into the dash of this race car. That leg support fell off and is melting on the floorboard. The floorboard is so hot that it's literally just singeing that leg support. So he smelled that, and not really a concern for fire or anything, but the smell is definitely there, and just kind of an odd and unique problem to have behind the wheel of that 28 car.
Last year's race winner also happens to be last year's champion. And is Michael Self going to be this year's champion? He does have those 5 extra points for leading the most laps now.
Yeah, that's 10 extra bonus points for Michael Self so far in this race. Christian Eckes has yet to lead here.
Eckes is in second as the laps begin winding down. Now 48 laps to go. It's a mile and a half around the Kansas Speedway, which means there ain't much time to do a lot of moving and shaking. Self hopes to hold on. Eckes looks to get around him. Zap. Back at the Kansas Speedway, where just a moment ago we went to break, you might have saw those caution lights flash, and it was because Tim Richmond, the Ottawa, Illinois racer, had a problem in that 06 car. Yep. You can't drive around a racetrack that way. He slides down to the bottom of the racetrack, and that brings everything to a brief slow. We'll get back up to speed, though, in just a minute. Self continues to lead Eckes here at Kansas.
Possible.
This time by the starting line of the Kansas Speedway, there will be 43 laps to go to settle the championship in the ARCA Menards series as Christian Eckes and Michael Self line up side by side on the restart.
Okay, Christian Eckes stay right down on his quarter panel, trying to get that 25 car a little bit loose. Looked like he wiggled a little bit down on the bottom.
Oh, absolutely. You couldn't, I mean, sheet of paper maybe. He needs that 5 bonus points right now, Christian does.
That's what is on his mind right now. Getting to that start-finish line before
he's got
25. I think he's going to do it.
You've got a new race leader. Is it official by the stripe? Yes, it is. Christian Eckes will get 5 points back.
That was huge for Christian Eckes.
Ty Majeski now runs third. Pink numerals on the 22. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Two of the most steady competitors all season long. The 23 of Braden, the Holmes rather, and the 27 of Braden. They're battling for fourth. So now Matt Crafton under the helmet of Michael Self, now running second. Laps winding down. What are you feeling now?
Well, right now I'm mad because I didn't choose a top on that restart. And so I got to let that out the window and let that go. And we're going to do whatever it takes at this point. It's going to be records or checkers.
We heard at the very beginning of the show when we talked to Michael Self, he said clean air is so important here. Well, right now, Christian Eckes has the clean air out front. Michael Self is battling that dirty air and actually losing a little bit of ground to Eckes.
And you could see that just before that when Michael Self was leading. I mean, he just checked out. Now the role is reversed.
Now with 40 laps to go, it's time for our championship reset as we send it down to our pit reporters. First up, Kim Kuhn.
Oh, we just had the spotter for Michael Self get on the radio and said, really good arc there. Go get him. That's Brandon Benish on the radio to Michael Self telling him get after Christian Eckes. Now, Michael has had a great race so far despite now running in the second position. He led the most laps plus led that first lap, so he does get 10 points bonus. And again, the feedback he's been giving his team, specifically crew chief Shannon Rush, is the car is awesome. The throttle speed is great. There is nothing I can say bad about this race car. They made no changes during that stop. Right now, they've just got eyes on Christian Eckes. Then they know they need to finish first if they want to take home this championship.
And Kim, in talking with Christian Eckes before the start of this race, he mentioned that it's really pretty simple. They just got to beat the 25, and obviously their job got a little bit tougher when they had to go to the back. But on that restart, I know they were excited because that meant they got to race Self straight up, restarting second there on his outside. So it's interesting watching these guys. Keep in mind, they're teammates. It was awfully close there going into 1 and 2 on that restart, but Christian was excited about that. He said, we can separate our relationship and race with the gloves off, and that's what they did right there, battling it out for the race win and ultimately the championship as well on that restart.
Well, at the top of the show, Dylan, we talked about each one of these drivers throwing punches, each one of them receiving some blows. For Eckes, it was, of course, the torn trachea, the incidents he's had at various times. For Michael Self, he has had some incidents as well, some mechanical issues, but bigger for the 25 team might be those penalties that team incurred.
Yeah, he had a couple penalties that really cost him 75 points, and now we're talking about 5 points here, 5 points there. Obviously, if he had those 75 points back, Pensacola, a rear spoiler height, and the legal body modification in Michigan, but again, totaling 75 points, and that is such a big difference here. But again, as you mentioned, Christian Eckes had his issue with that torn trachea back and had to miss Salem, so there was an opportunity of over 200 points that he gave away. Again, both of these drivers have had tremendous seasons. Both of these drivers deserve the championship, but we're only going to have one champion.
And you boil it all down for fans, it's perfect. It's exactly what you want to see.
The last lap, Self was a 10th faster.
It's Matt Crafton taking in the scoring and timing system to see what the gap is. It's 0.85 seconds the last time around. It's grown back over to a second now.
Right along with Riley Herbst. Riley was 2 laps down at one time, took the wave around, got 1 lap down, and then got the free pass. Now back on the lead lap, running right now in a battle up in the top 10. That's Haley Deegan, the 55 Toyota, right in front of him, and he just got by Sheldon Creed in that 28 car. So move Riley Herbst up to the 9th spot.
As Christian Eckes continues to lead, let's take a look at the Richmond Water Heaters mid-race recap, which basically for the first half, Phil, was dominated by the 25, Michael Self.
Yeah, all Michael Self. He led absolutely the first 57 laps of this race. You see Christian Eckes right now. Here's our leader. We have 12 cars on the lead lap. We've only had the 2 leaders, Michael Self and Christian Eckes, and we've had 2 cautions for 10 laps.
We are inside of 34 laps to go at the Kansas Speedway. Now it is Christian Eckes that is in control. A championship awaits. Does it at the Kansas 150 at Kansas Speedway? Or can Michael Self make some late race magic happen? Stick
Your body working.
Plagued with engine problems following qualifying, Christian Eckes has raced from the back to the front at the Kansas 150 at Kansas Speedway and is back in control of his championship destiny. He used the terms attack mode with an engine under the hood he calls Old Faithful.
Yeah, I think he has attacked here. He's really continuing to run some fast laps here.
We talked about the Owners' Championship already being secured. I misspoke saying it was Kathy Venturini. Kathy, technically the owner listed on Michael Self's car. It's Billy Venturini that gets the owner's points, and of course the man that started it all, Big Bill.
Yeah, Big Bill's been around a long time. Such a great asset here. His entire family to the ARCA Menards series. Just he's one of those good guys that you love seeing have some success. But whether it's Bill or Kathy or Billy listed as the car owner, it's really Venturini Motorsports and very much a family affair.
And technically, you go back even further, it was his dad, Tony, that started running around the Chicagoland area that got it all started. There's Kathy Venturini that owns Michael Self's car, you know, who she's probably pulling for, although the team will celebrate together.
Yeah, without a doubt, it's all family, all about family for the Venturinis.
Part of the Italian Motorsports Hall of Fame in the Chicagoland area.
And I talked to Billy really right before the race, and I said, do you have a favorite? He said, no, whichever one wins. I said, do they have to play nice? He said, no, they can do whatever they have to do here out here. So no team orders there for Venturini Motorsports.
This is a team, though, that had a little bit of strife back following an Elko event when Christian Eckes and Michael Self. Michael may have kind of helped Christian to a worse finish than he necessarily deserves. So keep, you know, Christian Eckes, he did a good job coming back from that little setback.
Oh, and Michael Self handled that so well. He said, I was a dummy. He said, that was just a bad move on my part. He said, Christian Eckes is one of my favorite guys to race with, and he felt so bad about it. And those guys are really, really tight. And I know each one of those guys wants to win this championship. There's no question. But they're going to be happy in the back of their mind for the other one, too, because they like each other so much.
The Venturini family and the ARCA Menards series have been around a long time, but I'm wondering who Senior is going to kiss after this race.
Okay. Maybe he's going to kiss all of them.
Yeah, he might, exactly. I always have seen that in victory lane, and you're like, wow, I don't know if I'd ever want to drive for that.
Well, Riley Herbst has had his share of problems tonight. Well, believe it or not, though, Riley Herbst has battled his way back onto the lead lap. He scored 8. He's trying to chase down Drew Dollar in the 4 car for 7. He had a fast machine earlier.
Yeah, I really would like to see what might happen if the caution were to come out here. We've got just over 20 laps to go. They pitted about 35 laps ago. I was talking to a lot of the crew chiefs. They said tires do matter, so it might be an opportunity. Some guys, I bet you, would stay out and some would come in, so it would really jumble up this field if we were to see a caution. But everyone's been pretty straight here. They haven't had a lot of guys get out of shape too much.
Oh, absolutely. And you are seeing some of them move up the racetrack and making some speed with it. I saw Sheldon move up the racetrack, and he's very, very loose all night tonight. I mean, I thought that was going to be one that was going to be running for a win tonight, but he's been really free. And
well, 1 year ago, Sheldon Creed became the 35th champion in ARCA Menards Series history. Is Christian Eckes on his way to becoming the 36th, or will it be Michael Self? If it is Christian Eckes, though, how about an 18-year-old with a resume that includes a motorsport championship? We will race to the checkers when we
To success.
this time by the the start-finish line at the Kansas Speedway. There are 15 laps to settle the 2019 ARCA Menards Series Championship. And right now, it is the 15 car that has his hands starting to wrap firmly around that championship trophy.
I don't think he's counting that championship yet. With 15 laps to go here, anything can happen. Remember, we have to race to the very end here. If the caution were to come out on the last lap, then we would have a restart.
Oh boy. I promise you, these are going to be the longest 15 laps this kid's ever raced in his entire life.
So he's hearing noises, I would assume, right?
You hear every rock hit every crush panel in that car.
So Eck is currently 30 better than Michael Self. That could change in an instant, though, if somehow that 25 can get up and get back into the lead. How fitting, though, that on a night where a championship is at stake, there have only been 2 race leaders, and they happen to be the 2 contenders. Christian Eckes is now down to just 13 laps to go. Kim.
Well, very much so. The role of crew chief is not only setting up the car and letting your driver know what they need to do on the track, but it's also a mental game you have to lead your driver through, and that is exactly what Shannon Rush is doing for Michael Self, reminding him not to overdrive it, telling him they have plenty of time. You never know what's going to happen. Also, keeping tabs on which laps he's been faster than Eckes. So Shannon Rush definitely playing the mental game for Michael Self, just keeping him positive and telling him, you know, we're not out of this yet. There is still time to go.
Well, if Michael Self looks in his rearview mirror, he might see a whole lot of Ty Majeski, who's coming in a big way right now.
Yeah, the General Tire onboard for Ty Majeski. Again, what an amazing job he's done in the 5 races so far for Chad Bryant Racing. Paul Andrews calling the shots. 3 wins, a 2nd and a 4th in the 5 races this year for Majeski.
I like what Michael did right there. Just go to the top. You got to take the gloves off, and you can't run the bottom or the middle. And he might be driving back away from him.
Yeah, he wasn't gaining any on Eckes, so try something different. Again, Shannon Rush is trying to keep him pumped up, but he's about 3 seconds behind right now with only 11 laps to go.
He ran 3.5 tenths faster running up top.
That was if he could do that every lap, then he's going to have enough time to get there. A caution would be nice for Michael Self. As we hear, looked like maybe Majeski might have gotten the fence a little bit off of turn 2.
Majeski, who along with Connor Hall, Corey Heim, was able to give Chad Bryant Racing the General Tire Super Speedway Challenge win, another race within the race. As right now, he's given back a little gap there to Michael Self. Self only cares about one thing, it's one position. And right now, he's got 2.8 seconds to go with just 10 laps.
Over 0.3 of a second that time. Michael Self was faster than Christian Eckes.
Saving?
No, he finally just went to the top.
Saving, not anymore. Is that what it is, you think?
I think Eckes is still running good lap times, but Michael Self all of a sudden started running faster as he moved up to the top.
Up against the fence off of turn 4. Let's see what the gap is this time by the start-finish line. 2.8 seconds down to 2.6.
Yeah, gained another 0.2 of a second. Ooh, trouble for Riley Herbst. Riley was running in the 7th spot here.
Christian does not want to see this.
I'm not a crew chief. That doesn't sound exactly right.
Sounds like a
tire coming apart.
There's right rear tire flapping the underpit, the crush panels.
I guarantee you Michael Self is saying there is debris
all over this racetrack.
Everywhere over that racetrack.
Meanwhile, Christian Eckes is passing the start-finish line now.
Eckes says what?
8 laps to go, down to 2.3 seconds.
Yeah, Christian Eckes said there's nothing on this racetrack. It's as clean as it's been all night. Tough break for Riley Herbst after overcoming a 2-lap penalty, or being 2 laps down.
And Self again 2.5 tenths faster.
Well, it almost makes you wonder if he could have moved up to the top
sooner.
5 or 10 laps earlier. Might he had enough time.
Under 7 laps to go now. Gap stays about the same, 2.2 seconds. Christian Eckes, this was a team. And Kevin Reed that got together after that Elko incident with he and Michael Self and begin to reevaluate their program. There's Kevin Reed on the left side of your screen.
That's Kathy Venturini sitting there with Kevin. At least right now, Michael Self can see Christian Eckes. He's close now to about 2 seconds, and he can see him out the windshield. There he is right there, the green and white car.
Oh, big gain.
They have Joe Graff in between them.
Down to 1.8 seconds, under 6 to go.
Wow.
Michael Self is coming to the front. Does he have enough time? Riley Herbst off the pace again. Smoke coming out of that car. Probably a tire rub, perhaps.
That would think a tire rub. That right rear tire tore a lot of stuff loose underneath that car, so more than likely a tire rub, but he's well off the racetrack right now.
Now with 5 to go, Christian Eckes gets a 2.1 second advantage over the 25. Dylan.
Well, we saw there when the gap dropped below 2 seconds, you saw Kevin Reed stand up and kind of have a surprised expression on his face. They got on the radio and said, hey, pick it up if you got anything. Christian did, and that gap now is back over 2 seconds. So they're not too worried, but I think they were maybe for a little bit there when they saw that gap continue to drop.
I'll bet you that was the fastest lap Eckes has run in the last 10 laps, hasn't it, Matt?
Yeah, absolutely. He hasn't had one lap under 31-second lap until the last one.
Yeah, the last 2 laps now he's been faster than Michael Self, so I think he listened to Kevin Reed and picked it up. Now with 4 laps to go, a little bit over 2 seconds.
Less than 6 miles to go. Michael Self, who led 57, the first 57, now finds himself at a distinct disadvantage. Time running out. Not enough racetrack left. Now desperately could use a caution, could use an issue. Should have come the way of the 15. 3 laps to go.
Yeah, he's not going to catch him on the racetrack. It's going to take a caution.
Closing moments of a championship battle that saw that man, Michael Self, lead from the 6th race until the 18th race before trouble set in. Enough troubles to let Christian Eckes come from way back to now have only 2 laps to go.
Self got in the fence, I think, a little bit possibly.
It looked like it. Giving it his all for sure. A real fast lap, that last lap for Michael Self. He gained about 3.5 tenths, but
he's begging for a yellow right now.
A little bit over a lap left for Christian Eckes.
Man who won at Nashville, led the most laps. Won at the Tricky Triangle in Pocono. Won on the DeCoin Dirt Mile. He's now in the final lap. A championship in his grasp.
Just needs to stay green here for another half a lap.
Down the backstretch into turn 3 clean. And at this point, it's over. The 36th champion in the history of the ARCA Menards Series and the race winner, the Kansas 150, is Christian Eckes. Very excited Kevin Reed, a man who has no problem showing his emotions, especially when the race is over and he's won. He has taken Christian and that entire team to the championship.
Boy, it's nice to come in here, though, with knowing that if you're the Venturinis, that one of your guys is going to win this championship. You're going to be happy either way.
I mean, they put on a great show all the way to the last lap, and this ARCA Menards Series, I mean, was great.
As happy as you are for Christian Eckes, you also have to applaud the attempt by Michael Self, who led the most laps and was literally hanging it out there up against the fence in the closing laps to try to get that win, a win that wouldn't come.
Yeah, certainly Michael Self has nothing to be ashamed of. What a tremendous season. Fought this all the way to the very end, led the points till we got to the very last race at Lucas Oil Raceway.
This is the final lap for Michael Self, just trying to do everything he could possibly.
Yeah, no give up on that young man or that team for sure.
Here comes one of his crew guys out, allowing Christian Eckes to fly the V one more time. A 3rd championship for the Venturini Motorsports team. For Kevin Reed, his 22nd win as a crew chief in the ARCA Menards Series. And yeah, before he drives that flag around, why not celebrate? You know, in talking to Christian Eckes, he felt like, he kept telling us time and again, I'm not out of this thing. I'm not out of this thing. He stayed true to his word.
Yeah, we knew there were special things in store for this young man when he won the Snowball Derby down in Pensacola, Florida at 16 years old, one of the biggest short track races we have.
Myrtle Beach 400 as well as a 16-year-old. Michael Self, yeah, disappointed right now.
Oh yeah, that's very, very tough for Michael Self, and he gave everything he had. It shows the right side of that car when it was tore up, and he jumped up top and made a lot of hay right there at the end, and I thought he was actually going to run him down, but what a great championship battle.
You've been on both sides of that, Matt, on the what Christian Eckes is going through right now and then what Michael Self is going through.
Oh, absolutely. I thought I had championship, my third championship, won a few years back, and the last set of tires we put on just went terrible tight, and Johnny ended up beating us.
You just never know when that next opportunity is going to come. An opportunity missed for Michael Self, but for Christian Eckes and his crew chief, a championship claimed. Let's go down to Dylan.
And Dave, the emotion down here, the exact opposite as you'd expect in the Christian Eckes pit, and crew chief Kevin Reed. Christian came on the radio and said, we're not going to let this define us, the incident and the issues you guys had to overcome today. Can you explain just how awesome of a driver you have behind the wheel of this race car this year, just everything that he overcame this year?
Hell, we've overcome obstacles all year long. With missing Salem, we run 19 races. The rest of these guys run 20. So at the end of the day, phenomenal job by Christian and all my guys. Practice went great. We thought we were in good shape. Went out to qualify. Thought we had a shot at the pole. Blew up coming to the green. Everybody from Venerini Motorsports, Ilmore, and some other people out of the garage come over and helped us get the thing changed and made it bulletproof for tonight. We started off a little free, made that stop, got it tightened up, and the guys got us back out second there, and we were able to race for it.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Kevin Reed, the winning crew chief for Christian Eckes. He's a champion again in the ARCA division.
And Michael Self will come home second in the race and second in the point standings. Michael, you were dominant that first half of the race. What was the difference between the first and second half?
Just clean air, probably. Just got a better restart than we did, and clean air is everything on these 1.5 miles, and we didn't have it.
Sum up the roller coaster of emotions you went through these 100 laps.
It's just how the year's gone. I mean, things go good for a little while, and then you have a mechanical issue or you have bad luck or something, and it just kind of crushes you. And I mean, that's just, unfortunately, you know, what put us in this position to be here. And, you know, I thought we had a really good shot at it tonight. I mean, we did have a good shot at it. You just got a better restart than we did that last one, and that's what sums up the championship.
A very disappointed and frustrated Michael Self down here, guys.
Well, it's certainly not for lack of effort. His Kansas resume will show 2/3, a second, and a first, but that first didn't come tonight, and that is ultimately the difference that cost him the championship.
Yeah, you can see it written all over his face, can't you?
There's no worse feeling.
I mean, there's really no words that need to be said. His expression says it all. But try as Michael Self might, just not able to do it. Did grab 4 wins, the same number as Christian Eckes. But again, just like Christian Eckes overcame problems, this was a team that overcame problems but just couldn't overcome giving up that points lead following the race out at Lucas Oil Raceway in Indianapolis. How about 7 consecutive races Christian Eckes finishes second or better, 3 times a winner, and that is the recipe toward getting a championship. Dylan.
And we'll get Christian out of the car here as he just pulled into victory lane, and he'll get to celebrate his ARCA championship and a race win too. And what a moment. The hug from crew chief Kevin Reed. Man, it wasn't easy, but I have a feeling that to do it that way, to have to earn it and then go up there and pass the guy you're battling for the championship, how much cooler does that make what's going on right now as a champion?
It's so special. It's so special. Man, I wasn't really nervous after qualifying. I just kind of going to do my deal because I knew that we had a fast race car, and man, we got the lead there and we drove away. You know, I was getting a little nervous. He was up there banging the boards a little bit, but man, this is awesome. You know, I can't thank everybody enough. JBL Audio, Toyota Racing, SiriusXM, all these guys right here, I don't know what to say, but this is really special. It's really, really special.
And you guys, you overcame so much adversity all year long. You personally, just as a team, as a whole, did that prepare you guys and kind of ease the nerves that much more for what you had to go through today?
Yeah, I'd probably say so. Yeah, this year's been kind of a roller coaster, but we ended on a high, and that's all that matters. So, man, I'm just really celebrating my guys.
Well, we got a trophy in, and there's Big Bill, of course. Here's the kiss that Matt was asking about. And the ARCA Menards Series Championship trophy for Christian Eckes. He is your 2019 ARCA Menards Series champion.
No doubt a big time being had right now in Kansas City, also out there in Middletown, New York. Dad George, Mom Darlene. This is a kid that had never raced here at Kansas, wasn't old enough, but he grew up in a big way right in front of our eyes.
Yeah, he did, but he's had so much good experience this year. The full ARCA Menards schedule, as well as the some of the truck races for KBM. A fine young man and a great race car driver.
An incredible night where the stage was set for a championship scenario, and it played out right in front of our very eyes. Michael Self made it interesting on Christian Eckes, but with a late race restart pass. A 15 car led by that man, Kevin Reed. Christian Eckes is your 2019 ARCA Menards Series champion. Come on back, there's a lot more from the Kansas Speedway.
That is Eckes that paces the field. The green flag is out, and we are racing.
Eckes comes into this race as the point leader, but last night he wasn't feeling well. He's in a hospital nearby here at Salem Speedway.
Oh, and he's got one car into the wall. Looked like maybe Christian Eckes in the 15 car.
After missing the event at Salem and then having that incident at Talladega, to come back with a vengeance here today and looking very strong. Gets the victory here. He wanted some Nashville magic. He's got it here today.
Up against the wall, into it.
Caution is out for Christian Eckes. Another championship points hit.
Looks like they were blowing something in the car. Maybe Christian Eckes, when he got into the outside wall, he may have done some damage to the crush panels. He may be getting some fumes in that 15 car.
Christian Eckes in that number 15 machine to slide into his pit stall, overshoot it a little bit. Now know the reason is because you had no brakes.
For Christian Eckes, they had 2 plug wires loose.
This race belongs to Christian Eckes. He has won the Pennsylvania 150 to get back in the championship race.
Score a hat trick of victories for Christian Eckes this year. His 3rd victory of 2019 comes right here at DeCloyne.
And how about 4 trophies that include a guitar? A man who tamed the triangle, also did it on dirt. And with the 4th win here at the Kansas 150, a congratulatory handshake from Michael Self. Christian Eckes is your ARCA Menards Series champion, doing it in style, visiting Victory Lane and taking home that big trophy as well. Dylan is with the man that makes it all happen.
Yeah, this is the boss, Big Bill Venturini down here. So, hey, you got a car that wraps up the Owners' Championship today, the 20 car. You got 2 other cars that are battling for the championship on the driver's side. Got to make you pretty proud of the program that you guys have built here, that you got 3 cars battling for championships.
Really exciting. A storybook year. I mean, just you could never dream of. We've won 14 out of 20 races. Finished 1st and 2nd in the Owners, 1st and 2nd in the drivers, and it's really weird. 1st with the Owners in the 20 car and 15 second, and the drivers 15 wins it and the 25 is 2nd. So it was just an accumulation of great people, great drivers we had a stellar lineup of drivers for this year, so I've been very blessed with that. And I got to thank Toyota for all the help they give us, and Sinclair and JBL. It's just been Craftsman. It's been like I said, storybook year. I couldn't have asked for anything better.
What kind of heartache does it put on the owner when you watch your 2 guys battling for a championship go down side by side on a restart, and they're inches apart from each other? The last thing you want to do is them take each other out, but at the same time, you want to let them race it out.
I was in a press conference earlier before the race, and like I said, somebody's going to be really happy, and somebody's going to be really mad, or sad, I should say. Not mad, but sad. And I hate it because both of them were stellar. I couldn't have asked for better situation. And the drivers, they really are friends. I don't know if they're going to be friends anymore after this, but we'll see what happens.
Well, congratulations. Enjoy your championship.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Bill Venturini, the winning car owner, the winning car owner of the Owners' champion as well. So a good day to be a Venturini down here at Kansas.
Man who knows how to celebrate a championship, did it as a driver in 87 and 91. We showed you that at the beginning of this show, but it's not like the Venturinis have a year like they put together this year. This one is special.
As he mentioned, that's unbelievable. 14 out of 20 races, they go to victory lane, 14 poles. You see all the top 5 finishes. They led 2/3 of the laps here in 2019.
That's impressive.
Just incredible, incredible numbers wrapped up by the Venturini Motorsports crew. Of course, punctuated when Christian Eckes not only came out as race winner of the Kansas 150, but is also the ARCA Menards Series champion. Back at the Kansas Speedway with a shock to the system. The General Tire Super Speedway Challenge just wrapped up, and it's about the only thing the Venturinis didn't win. How about Chad Bryant, led, of course, by Ty Majeski's magical year?
Yeah, Connor Hall and Corey Heim also contributed to the 10-race General Tire Super Speedway Challenge. Great job by Chad Bryant and his staff. Obviously, Paul Andrews calling the shots on that 22 car.
Let's talk about some more of the 2019 ARCA Menards Series winners. That Bounty Rookie Challenge ultimately goes to Tommy Vi. That's because Christian Eckes is the champion.
Yeah, ARCA wants to split up the awards, and you cannot win the championship and the Rookie of the Year in the same year, so Tommy Vi will take the Rookie of the Year challenge.
Great year for Toyota as a manufacturer. Of course, we mentioned Christian Eckes, the Sioux Chief Short Track Challenge winner. The General Tire Pole Award. You know, Michael Self started this year as a self-professed bad qualifier and not a short track guy. He put both of those on his resume big time this year.
Yeah, put a lot on his resume this year. What an outstanding season.
And now we begin to look forward to 2020. They're calling it 20 at 20 in 20. We're going racing 20 times at 20 different locations, and we're going road course racing again.
Yeah, and this is really, the schedule has changed quite a bit for the ARCA Menards Series. As you can see, they're going to make their first trip to ISM Raceway out in Phoenix. And Matt, I think you're going to have you're going to be promoting that on your truck in Phoenix here in a few weeks.
Yeah, for the ARCA Menards Series, it's going to be the first time they're going to Phoenix. So it's going to be a great race, and maybe hopefully someone will have a spare seat for me.
In addition to those 20 races, there's 4 different championship series. Check out the ARCA Menards Series website for all the information. 2020, though, is going to be a jam-packed, full, loud pedal year. We're going crazy.
Yeah, what a great schedule, though. You can see a lot of new venues for the ARCA Menards Series. They're going to go to Bristol. They're going to Mid-Ohio, to Watkins Glen. It's going to be a great season. Back to Memphis in September.
And as you look forward to Daytona in February, it's really not that far away. That race in Phoenix out on March 6th that we're talking about, those races guaranteed to be right here on FS1. So that's going to be a blast for sure. Well, we mentioned Ty Majeski came home 3rd. His worst finish this year was 4th. To go along with that, 3 wins. A little bit ago, Kim Kuhn caught up with him.
Finishes 3rd here tonight. On the radio, though, you said you were frustrated when you got to Self. What more did you need? Was it something out of the car or the racetrack?
I think a combination of both. You know, Michael does a great job taking the air off you. He makes a big arc into the corner and kind of ruins both lanes for me. And I could get there, just not close enough to make the pass. We're just way too tight in traffic. Obviously, it's kind of the name of the game in these ARCA cars. They just punch a big hole in the air, and it's hard to get air on the nose and keep the thing turning. But overall, you know, just really thankful for this opportunity this year. We went 3 for 6. 3 wins and a second, a third, and a fourth. So nothing to hang our hat on. Obviously wanted that one today, but thanks to all my partners, Chad Bryant Racing, Crestliner Boats, and General Tire for putting this series on. Hopefully we can try again next year.
A great season for Ty Majeski and these 6 starts for Chad Bryant Racing.
Well, definitely a short track specialist. He's back on his way already to the Wisconsin Dells Raceway Park. 98 short track wins. Would love to get to that magical 100 mark by the end of this year. He's got enough talent to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't do it here in the next couple of weeks.
Meanwhile, here's the scene back behind the media center where everybody is starting to amass to begin the championship celebration for Christian Eckes as he gets an opportunity to congratulate some of his guys. Brett Holmes came home a very consistent 4th. That's something he's been doing all year. Kim had an opportunity to speak with him.
Brett Holmes comes home 3rd in the points. What does a finish like this in the standings mean for a small team like yours?
It means a lot, you know, against the teams we compete against throughout the year. I mean, we compete against a Cup team and guys that get a lot of manufacturing help, and we're just a single car team and family run. You know, it's been a slow process for us to get to where we're at, and just been so thankful for all the guys this year who've made the biggest difference in our team.
Nice work.
Thank you.
That's Brett Holmes.
So 2019, Phil Parsons comes to a close. What's your immediate reflection when you look back?
Well, I think we have superstars in the making, certainly with Christian Eckes, Michael Self solid. He was a multi-time winner in the K&N Series back in the day and a number of wins now in the ARCA Series. Hopefully he can be back next year to run for a championship, and we know that we're going to see Christian Eckes probably some more this year in the Gander Outdoors Truck Series.
Since 2009, we haven't had a championship quite like this. That's why Matt Crafton hung around with us all night.
Oh,
for you.
It was a great battle, without a doubt.
We will see you next week at Martinsville as the NASCAR Gander Outdoors Truck Series continues. But for that, it is a wrap. For Phil Parsons, Dylan Welch, Kim Kuhn, Matt Crafton, our entire crew, I'm Dave Reeve. 2019 is in the books, and what a season it has been if your name is Christian Eckes. He wins the championship for Venturini Motorsports. We'll see you again next February from Daytona, Florida.